So in this way, we have been just doing the Guru Yoga practice, and it is important to carry through this chanting, and you all also individually do this practice.
Lama le soro ande vese de chero nge ngadi ne chen de tere de chero ha ko gure rang tai lama imbala namanguru mo che la tu som je son je tang ji tin di ten ji is sadaya de ke chi tere.
So as we do all this Guru Yoga practice, the supplication to Guru, which is important, that mainly the essence of one's root Guru appears in form of Guru Padmasambhava, and of course the Guru Padmasambhava is the just essence of all the past, present, future Buddhas.
No tende ti lama kundi du sawatam ne tende kadi ye jong tende medran Guru do sije son de dance.
And in that way, just having that understanding, and then doing the supplication, you try to do the 7-line prayer and then the Bhajan Guru mantra.
Soba cheme nelu ngaso do topra sheba la lama la sora do tishin la te ge rong ge ngaso do gu re ma do kap yen da ye ma re.
So to have the ultimate realization of the absolute true nature of the Dzogchen, the great perfection, that one has to depend upon the just blessing of the just Lama, the Guru. Other than that, there is no any other method.
Sanji ge chingko rinpa sumkor sura yanla tuni se chingko rinpa sumkor yawa tena tante wo nelu ji dande tobi che to sum re ma do yanda kaya ma.
And whatever Buddha has taught about the three turning wheel of Dharma, that which is in a more larger context, known as the 12 branches of the teaching, this all is mainly for the purpose to realize the absolute true nature of mind. And also the Vajrayana teachings, that the 9 yanas of the teaching and the 6,400,000 of the Dzogchen teachings, that is also for mainly purpose to realize the absolute true nature of phenomena. And also in the just lesser vehicle, according to Sutra, that which they carry through practice of 3 countless eon lifetimes, that is also to realize the absolute true nature of mind. And also that the outer tantra, the kriya yoga charya, and the upa yoga, and all these according to these practices, that which takes like 16, 17 lifetimes, 7 lifetimes, 3 lifetimes, that is also mainly to realize the absolute true nature of phenomena according to the Dzogchen. So that however we study all this very extensively, very vastly, is all just depending upon that establishment of the Dzogchen. At the same time, how we can just really condense into the true nature as the great perfection, the Dzogchen. And however one may just study, and one could have that all these volumes of teaching in one's mind, but still if one have not realized the great perfection meaning, then still one cannot attain enlightenment.
那当这的这当这这的是利用的，那里就单用多把就没去的给你都给。
So all the essence of the Dharma teaching has to be condensed on the ultimate meaning of the great perfection, the Dzogchen.
昨天是单那里用多把多，他说讲的是这些吧的，让给在拉玛也没那么个人没得，在那对送就根据就到那些的，但呢，让给带把东，那拉米出去带你这玩的时候呢，这里那里就带的多个人，他们现在也没得。
So that the ultimate true meaning or the absolute true nature of phenomena that of the Dzogchen, one could just have that realization through the supplication to the root guru, who is the just essence is the root guru, appears in form of the Guru Pema Sambhava, and from one's devotion and then the blessing of the just master, that which been just connected together, through that one can realize the meaning of the great perfection.
Pena chut no ne nya na nyaka pena nya singres chuno nyaka nya mena nyaka kases pena singya yamares.
So for example, like in the water or a pond, if there is fish, then if we just through the net to catch the just fish, then we can just get the fish. If there is no fish in the water, however we may just through this net, working hard, there is no way we can get even single fish.
Lama de ka nyamba tangsi stung ge se ate lami tangsi tena tangsi tsoge ma se na lami se lab ju ge mare de ki tangsi nyam do se lam ju ate tangsi nyam se ge.
So that relating with these words of honor, relating with the practice and the practice of Guru Yoga, that if one cannot just maintain the words of honor in a proper way, then one could not just receive that blessing, and that is what it is called the violation of the words of honor. And if oneself does not have the devotion, and then one could not receive the blessing, and then of course oneself is already wandering in the samsara. So there is no anyone just really happened by oneself, achieving enlightenment in just countless eons in the past history. Only the Pratyek Buddhayanas or the Pratyek Buddhas, the solitary realizers, so they are just somehow when the Buddhas are not coming on the earth, then at that time these just based on their many previous lifetimes, aspiration, prayer, and also their, according to their practice, then they born at that time, and then they just see the bones, and then based on the bone they just study and understand and realize the 12 different 12 links, 12 branches of link of the interdependent origination, and through that they just carry through that practice, and then they could have the arhat realization, but still they haven't attained complete enlightenment. And also that they could not really benefit any other sentient being that much, and only that they could liberate from the suffering of cyclic existence, and still their realization is far, far away from complete enlightenment.
Guru Rinpoche said, "Nani hunning each of them here, Kogi, in a Tata Jaganisha, Bernisha, did it so much in Maris."
So about Guru Rinpoche, as I have explained before, and of course you must be knowing or understanding that Guru Pema Sambhava is not just only that history that who existed in India and Tibet.
Tata Karban Medjite Community Marit Nedeji Karba Trome Bachimone, Tisum de Sanje, Seva Mombochi land and Zomne, Tata Nasina the citizen of the Sune, Tanda Karisan, Sanje, Chiku Longo Trukudin, number some none, Chuku Tembate, Tobachi Michete, Sungar Chevichetu, Tisum de Sanje Tanji, Tuji Gombati to Tene. And didn't go to much tribute to the Tomar, do some just on the Shia Mumbaji, who did the notion of Bema Gazadomba, and children in the Bema and the kids of the Kotokan, Chichi the daughter, Sindela, yes, and Guru Bema said, do some just on the land soon, then Guru Maji Kode, Meto Baby Bole, Sonji Tanji Tuji Laugi, then you are Tumbaris.
So this Guru Pema Sambhava is not just only that who existed once in a while, but from many countless eons before that they are already attained enlightenment, and at the same time is the manifestation of all the past, present, future Buddhas. And with this, all the, especially that the manifestation of complete enlightened, the Buddha, like the manifestation of Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, and especially to maintain the Dharmakaya teaching, which is known as the Dzogchen, the Great Perfection. For that purpose, that Guru Pema Sambhava is been manifested from all the three times Buddha, and then they also just did this prayer known as the the 7-line prayer. All the Buddhas, they at the time they chant this 7-line prayer, and because of that, then Guru Pema Sambhava just born in these lotus, and then how it started benefiting sentient beings.
Zoba Chimbi Chinkor Korvi Chedere, they in this Sanjik, Durando de Mamba, the Nesum to already, sent to Monan to go to Sungere Mado, Zoba Chimbi Chiko, the Sungma, Cassisuna, Heruka, Kulas of a Yurgeno, Yendu, Mistake Lomana Suna Mado, Sungia Maris, magical.
So that Shakyamuni Buddha, in generally, that mainly he just taught on the like Vinaya and Sutra and Abhidhamma Sutra, the three baskets or the three canons, and even he gave all these higher tantric teachings or like great perfection. Then it has to be just manifested in form of these deities or herukas, and then also many different other places.
Then Guru Rinpoche, Songaji Chase Gumba Potone, Sonjetan Change Lavne, Karva Toma Meban Sojadi, Karva Redi Kala, Sonje Cassisana, Sonje Tikasu, Ronso Dojal Yepi Consultant Gila, then Guru Rinpoche and Kutumi Turten, and it is a song of the Chingo Kone, Senje Tomeba, and then on Dangima, Karva Tomeban, Tatiba, Kushish in the Ghetto Travari, right in the Songi.
So then Guru Pema Sambhava is purposely just coming on the earth to just give all this Dzogchen, the great perfection teaching, and for that purpose Guru Pema Sambhava is blessed by all the past, present, future Buddhas. And then that each and every period of time, that when there are the just followers for the Dzogchen, then the Dzogchen, the great perfection teachings are there. And that way, that Guru Pema Sambhava have been just benefiting sentient being from countless eons till now.
Tata Yenayong, Sonji Chajati Kam Dela Yenao, Guru Sonji Kunyanga and Lonik Sanjin Samla, Danakoji Solindi, Kandama Mundra, Mumaji, Cities on the Hoja, Cities on the Sorata Baratene, Guru Majimeto Pemi, Tumi Turtemaris.
So then even this period of time when Shakyamuni Buddha just passed away in Nirvana, And after 28 years later, then the countless, the millions of Dakinis, they did the prayer of the 7-line prayer to invoke the Guru Padmasambhava, and according to that, Guru Padmasambhava manifested and then born in the lotus. And Guru Padmasambhava, before he came to Tibet, he just stayed in India almost 2,000 years. And during that period of time, also Guru Padmasambhava is not always just kind of one form, based on that each and every individual beings. According to that, he have been just manifesting many different activities, and such as like 8 manifestation of Guru Padmasambhava. And for example, like in the Nalinda University, that there were just many thousands and hundreds of these great scholars, the Panditas, and then moreover the Nalinda University has 4 gates. Each and every gate there are many great scholars, realized beings, and such as Guru Padmasambhava also one of them. And then one time that in Nalinda University there happened about 500 the Hindu scholars who just came there. That we want to just have debate with you. And then they just said, whoever wins the debate, then they have to follow that kind of just religion. Other than that, they cannot do their own practice. And all these other non-Buddhist scholars, they are also very great scholars. At the same time, they also have lots of power and miraculous performances. So at that time, all the Buddhist scholars in the Nalinda University, that they thought, by debating, of course, we can just defeat them, but through all this kind of miraculous performance, maybe we could not just, defeat them, and they have just, some problem there. So at that time, then when these scholars were just a little bit worried, and then one night almost all the scholars have same kind of dream, that there appeared just a Dakini and just said, that you all cannot defeat them, that my great uncle who is in the channel ground, Siwatel, if you could just invite him, he can help you to defeat them. So then they were also just worried, that channel ground, it is kind of very scary, and there is no proper road they can just go to invite him. So they were just worried. And then the Dagini said, you all just prepare all these, Gandha Chakra Puja offerings. Gandha Chakra Puja offerings, and then you just carry through the 7-line prayer, that we can invite him. And then, according to the instruction of the Dagini, that they just piled up all different kinds of precious offerings as the Gandha Chakra Puja, and then they started accumulating the 7-line prayer with full devotion, and then after a while, that Guru Pamasambhava just really appeared there. And then Guru Pamasambhava said, you all just called me here, and what you have things to tell me. And then they explained to that we have just a great debate going on between that Buddhists and non-Buddhists, so we are not able, so that is why we invite you. And then in that way they just carried through the debate and also just performing all these kind of different miracle performance, and after all the non-Buddhists, they were loose. And still that the non-Buddhists, they also did lots of miraculous performance, just flying in the sky and just sitting there and doing all different kinds of extraordinary activities. And then Guru Pamasambhava also just did the miracle performance much more kind of greater and faster performances. And then the rest of all those, since they lose, so then they all just become Buddhist. And even that Tibet, if Guru Pamasambhava he has not been invited to Tibet, then it is difficult that there to flourish the Buddha Dharma. And it is just because in Tibet also that there are all these local gods and spirits, those who are just kind of very powerful and just have lots of miracle performances. So when Guru Pamasambhava came, then he just challenged with all their just powers and miracle performance, and in that way he subdued each and every of the local gods and spirits and everyone, and then he just gave the empowerment and then gave all this teaching, and then they were just they offered themselves to Guru Pamasambhava, and then they become just oath bound that just to protect all the dharmas. Where these places where that Guru Pamasambhava and these the local gods and spirits, where they just went through performing all these kind of miracles and just challenging each other, these places are still there in Tibet. We can just see. Also in Tibet, that the Tibetan king and then the ministers, and most of the ministers, they are also like pompous, who are just who don't like the Buddhism. And all those ministers also that by Guru Pema Sambhava, by his power and miracles and his teachings, that slowly they all become just Buddhist followers.
La Torinian, the Tena Gadio, no bit them, but they don't answer Tavares, in our Lambo Tantito, you like it, and the
And even just before that, the Dharma King Songzen Gampo and also Latotori Nyenten, at that time also there were a little bit of flourishing Buddha Dharma, but all these local gods and certain these negative ministers and spirits, they somehow just it is flourishing and then they destroyed and it could not just establish there. And then since when that Guru Pema Sambhava came to Tibet and he subdued everything in that way, and just they could follow the right Buddha Dharma teaching, and till now, although there are just happened, certain time, just little bit of degrees, was the degenerating of the Dharma, but still it never just happened that something got destroyed. It was so complete in that way.
Guru Mochi said, no more, what in the past, thank you, Guru Mochi, the Gila Tavar, so
in general, that Guru Pema Sambhava just appears to us that he is kind of born and then going around and then teaching and that which appears like a human being, but his true nature is beyond any birth and death.
Guru Mochi, Tevan and Guru Mochi,
that there are people that in Taiwan just saying, that these are the Guru Pema Sambhava's relic, but those I don't think it is true.
Guru Mochi,
because Guru Pema Sambhava, he didn't pass away. He is just in Tibet there is a mountain known as Gongthang La, and from that Guru Mochi just flew to the Colored Copper Mountain. And that is also not like that, maybe one or two people just saw in that way, just a whole people that, the Tibetan king and ministers and queens and a whole bunch of subjects, they all just, came there for, Guru Pema Sambhava's farewell, and then they saw that, he just flew to Colored Copper Mountain. And there is the Guru Pema Sambhava's, cloths. And Guru Pema Sambhava's just hair is that a great treasure revealer who revealed out Guru Pema Sambhava's hair, that which is kind of like a small pieces and which is kind of shiny with the 5 different kind of just color like rainbow colors, and that is only also got through revelation. Other than that, one cannot even just see the Guru Pema Sambhava's hair. And as we just look at him, it seems like there is that he have the physical appearance, but in reality that he don't have a solid concrete body. And until that the Maitreya Buddha come on this earth, and also till to the just 1,000 Buddha will be appearing on this earth, till to that based on that each and every individual beings, whatever their karmic connections are, according to that Guru Pema Sambhava appear and will benefit all beings. And there were also just who have a very negative just karma, that who could not even just understand and who could not believe that the existence of Guru Brahma Sambhava, and they also just there are very few who say, oh, Guru Brahma Sambhava didn't just happen in that way.
Dada sayade, Rongitai Lama Yembala, Namanguru Mochi, Tela Tusum Sunji Kundi, Donji, Lami Nanjo, Gadichon San of Nurse.
So in that way, just the mainly that which is the one root Guru, but the aspect is the Guru Brahma Sambhava, and in that way one can just cultivate one's devotion and then carry through all these chanting prayers.
Tepa Mugi Pe Massive Soba Yamaji, Lami Nanjo Kona Rongi Nelly Danton Rongi Momo.
If one have just a very strong devotion and one could just carry through the actual practice, just only through the Guru Yoga practice, there are just many who could have the realization of the absolute true nature of mind. So that is why every time the Guru Yoga practice and the 7-line prayers, that you need to do it constantly carry through the practices. And then this time also we have this retreat for practice of Ngando and Zalung and Dzogchen practices. Every time we have this Guru Yoga practice, so you all just do it in a proper way. Right now, just to carry through these practices, it seems like you might have a little bit of problem or difficulty.
So
whatever that the difficulty or hardship one may spend for all these dharma practices, it is definitely purifying your obscuration, and it is meaningful. In that way, one have to just understand. And for example, that if you think of just the Chitun Milarepa, how much hardship where he went through the dharma practice. And that is also just for to realize the absolute true nature of phenomena. And even the great Dzogchen master or Longchen Ramjam, he also just have that kind of realization that he went through all these hardship practices. And when he was just receiving teachings from his master, the Kumaranta, then he just only have just like a clothing or everything as one sack. And even his cushion is also that sack, and even he want to just wear it as like a clothing or blanket, still he use that same thing. And even just food also, that he have just very little bit of food. He don't have that much food. And in that way, just how he carried through the practice, and then one could have that Mahasiddhi realization. Like in some of the teachings that which explains like that in the tent of a just woolen cloth that he has written all these, teachings. And in one way, it seems like, he's just kind of, luxury, but it is not really in that way.
Lavi dingo de beji moranda chire dino usares.
So that which means that kind of woolen tent, which means he have that kind of made out of wool, a kind of sack in which he just get into that, and then he started writing all these teachings.
So pela ndulu di tata jagan more yore ba ande no yi begi lawa ke tende zore tende jin nieten senanda navji senante ro ba.
So like in Tibet, that what it is called lawa, which means a kind of woolen. The actual is the wool, but then that they make a kind of like a sack where we put all this grain or all this kind of thing. Similar like that, he just have only one, and that he just get inside that and he wear that, and in that way he carry through practice. So all the past great Vidyadharas and practitioners, all these masters, that everyone just really went through this kind of hardship through which they could have great accomplishment. So in that way, just even you have kind of little bit difficulty or just going through like a hardship, you don't think that, oh, this is difficult, I cannot just really do this. Don't think in that way. Try to just have more diligence. What we really need to just obtain is that ultimate result, the Buddhahood. Otherwise, we are in this samsara, or the suffering of the cyclic existence, which is completely endless, and one cannot just really go beyond than that. So all these dharma teachings, what you are just receiving is everything based on that Dzogchen, that which has so much blessing in these teachings. So in this way, if you could just carry through proper practice, sincerely with the diligence, then of course part of the Dzogchen practice like Tökel, which you have been already receiving, and then in the future you can also receive the textures. So in this way, just you all not wandering in the samsara again and again, and try to just achieve the ultimate happiness, the enlightenment. And within this, or the life or the world, just whatever kind of pleasure, having so much attachment or grasping over it, there is no much real benefit. There is no way that we could be satisfied of our wishes. And also the Thalung, Chungur, the exercise, that maybe that your body could do it or not. There are also many conditions. But you can slowly practice and then slowly get better. And just studying and practicing, that there is no anything that which cannot get accomplished. It is difficult to get perfect immediately, but of course, there is a way we can just practice. And the practice or study, don't think that you want to just get everything right now. just try to have far sight, and slowly you can get better.
최세 대성이 나와지니 좀도 디사우던데 저도 휴체머리 그라 그래서 좀나 그래서 얘나 대대 강하다.
The dharma practice and the accomplishment of it, that don't think that within a month or like a few months time one could have some accomplishment. Of course, thinking in that way is good if one can just really do and get accomplishment, but it is not so simple like that. So one have to just have lots of diligence to carry on. And even all the past great masters and realized beings, they also just therefore their whole lifetime is spent through carrying through practice, and then they have this kind of realization. But having some realization within few months or few years are very, very rare. And when you think, I want to just do everything very fast and accomplish everything very fast, and working very hard, putting yourself just into pushing so hard, and then your body also cannot just resist it, your mind also just become completely tired, and then that creates an obstacle for the dharma practice. So then one think that this the dharma teaching does not have any power, or there is no any benefit, and then one just kind of like giving up all everything, and then that way there are happen many problems. So that is why it is important to try to relax and then have the continuity to just carry through practice, just with the diligence. And every time it is just important to watch your thought and to examine your minds. That we just teaching all this Dharma, but still more important is just looking into yourself, to examine your mind, what your minds are thinking and what you are doing. So just examining one's mind and watching one's thought and turning into inwards into oneself, that how much negative thoughts are arising, how much virtuous thoughts are arising, and how much kind of pollutions are happening, and in that way to examine and correct oneself is more important. And relating with the Dharma practice, the most important is that just oneself becoming the master of oneself, to tame one's own mind, to just really just subdue it. So just we, all the worldly people, that turning towards somebody and just saying, this is somebody is doing this and this is right, this is wrong, and just to say that it is the ordinary mind's nature. And that way just one cannot really accomplish the Dharma. And just turning inward and just watching one's own mind, what my mind is just thinking and what my mind is doing. In that way, just examining is very important. And when one's mind is just becoming just pure and devoted and just kind of sincere, then oneself is having some Dharma practice.
Lota Maji, Tesa Maji, Temboji, Sitapahias.
So I'm just always, telling you that for the Dharma you need to have devotion, inclination and faith, and not to just have wrong views, and not to have all this kind of hesitations and doubts. So it is also just important to try that whatever kind of afflicted minds are arising, try to just slow down and subdue it. So how we could just subdue the afflicted mind is when you are giving rise to any kind of afflicted mind, any kind of negative emotion, then if you just let it happen in that way, then just one could not have the antidote. From the beginning lifetime till now, that we have been just overpowered by the afflicted mind, and that is how we are wandering in the cycle. So that understanding that when any kind of afflicted mind arise, then just try to realize what is the just result of that. It is something negative and not just good. And at the same time, even you examine the afflicted mind when it arises. If you examine it, then itself is also just emptiness. In that way,